beginning with verse number 10. And now behold the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, whom thou wouldest not let us in Israel invade, when they came out of the land of Egypt. But they turned from them and destroyed them not. Behold, I say, how they reward us to come to cast us out of thy possessions, which thou hast given us to inherit. O our God, wilt thou not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that cometh against us, neither know we what to do. But our eyes are upon thee. And all Judah stood before the Lord with their little ones. With their little ones. Some people don't believe in having little ones today. Little ones. Their wives. And their children. Let me read a portion of verse number 12. In fact, give us the latter portion. Neither know we what to do, but our eyes upon thee. Neither know we what to do. What do you do when you don't know what to do? That's a question, a very significant question. There'll come a time in each of our lives when this will be our plight. I don't care how astute you are, how spiritual you are, how long you've been around, your seniority. There'll come a time in your life and your experience where you don't know what to do. Your experience, what you've gone through in the past, what worked last time, you don't know what to do. Now you might get led of the Spirit, that's wonderful, but there'll come a time you don't know what to do. Because God arranges it that way. He has a purpose in mind. And he goes on to say that, Lord, we've prayed, we've fasted, we've come before you, and with all that we know, we've exhausted ourselves, our resources. And now we are at a stalemate here. We just don't know what to do. We're at Jordan River and the Red Sea, and we don't know what to do. But despite this confusion, Lord, our eyes on thee. We've not shifted our focus. You know why many people are in the predicament then tonight? They came to a crisis. They came to a place that was not clear, that was dismal, and it was sort of in the twilight. It was not clearly defined. And they didn't know what to do. And they just did something. There are those here tonight who are victims of having made erratic decisions because they came to a place they didn't know what to do and they just jumped, took a leap into the dark, and now they are in a mess. They depended on their educated scrutinies or whatever, what they've looked and what they've seen and what they have supposed. They got emotional and jumped, made an emotional decision, and now they're in a situation. But this is what we need to understand tonight. You will have to live with the consequences of your decision. For the good or bad, whoever we are, no one's exempt. So now when you get emotional or upset and get pushed in the corner and come out fighting, you got to live with that. Oh, you got to see God has arranged it that way. See, He has arranged that. See, it's unavoidable. We can't get around it. We can't circumvent it. Lord, we are in a predicament here. It's good to know when you are in a situation. And it's consequential. Our future, our livelihoods, all that we hold dear is at stake here. My survival or whether I survive or perish will be determined at this point. You better pray. You better pray hard. Listen, see. Now, some of us think we can sit back in a corner, snug in a corner, and we'll never come to this place. You're coming, or you're coming. And you might be there right now more than you realize. And we don't know what to do. Oh, yes, I don't care. I've been around almost 60 years, but, brother, I've had some recent situations. I didn't know what to do. Brother Ken and I was close, and we would call when we get in situations back against the wall. I said, Brother Carl, I said, I got a situation here. And I've tried this and I've tried the other. He said, well, what about this? Did you do this? I said, well, no, I don't think that'll work, Brother Carl. And I said, I've tried that. He said, okay, what you going to do? Well, I got to do something. I can't just sit here. When you get in a situation, you're going to do something. Or you're going to do something. See, some situations will not go away. They're going to have to be faced. They'll have to be dealt with. You understand? And when you have a situation that people just cannot make a clear determination of what's proper in this case, or what the outcome will be, or how it will affect us hereafter, you got a situation. You pray with us. You pray with us this evening. Lord, our eyes on Thee. We don't know what else to do. But here's the situation, children. Some of us are so easily shifted. We're so vulnerable. We're so unstable. And every time somebody come with something, I mean, it pushes us in this or that direction. And we maybe shouldn't be involved at all. We shouldn't venture in that direction at all. Now let me tell you this, children. All right, then you say, well, in the multitude of a counsel, there's safety. All right? There come a time when your chief counselors could mislead you. When those who you've always sought counsel and brought you out on the right side, this time you might perish. Our eyes on Thee. That's the only solution I know, however, but there's more to it than that. Tonight, many of us in situations, and we don't know what to do. We're fasted. We've prayed. We've sought good counsel, and we're still biting off our nails and pacing the floor at night. Waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning, can't go back to sleep. Go to the table and eat, and it's nauseous. I don't know what to do. But now here is the dilemma. In most instances, when people come to this point, they panic and take a leap into the dark, not knowing what awaits them. And now we have to spend our time trying to unravel some erratic and deadly decisions that they've made. All over the country, I'm getting calls. Even people who stood against us down through the years. And now they've come to confusion. Now their backs against the wall. Brother Hampton, we're in a predicament here. We've sought counsel here and there, and the things have degenerated so, and the churches have gone down so, and I mean, and they're so worldly, and they've compromised so. I don't know what to do. I can't move because I have too much attachment here, and I can't do this because my husband is not in agreement with it, and I'm famishing from hunger. What do I do? Should I just go anyway and leave him behind? Or should I sleep in another room and try to force him into doing what I want him to do? Or should I get a chief counsel and follow their advice? I don't know what to do. I don't get the solution, Brother Hampton. Well, we're giving you part of it already. All right, let's move on. You remember Habakkuk? Over in the 2nd chapter of his book, you remember that? When he was confused because it seemed that those on the opposite side, the negative side, were prevailing, and that there was an inequity there, and that the wicked seemed to be surviving, and the righteous perishing. So what's going on here? I don't understand it, Lord. And so you are pure eyes to look on evil, but it seems that you're favoring the evil, and I'm getting the brunt of this situation. What does it say? Habakkuk 2? 1, come on.
I will stand upon my watch.
That's what I want. I will what?
Stand upon my watch.
I'm going to stand upon my watch.
And set me upon the tower.
And set me upon a tower.
And will watch to see.
Wait a minute. I got a multitude of counselors here. And I'm becoming more confused. Come on. I mean, I'm in a hole, and every time I go to someone, they're digging it deeper. So what do I do? Come on. This person here gave good advice last time, but this time I'm sinking in the quagmire. Come on. They told me what to do last time, but this time I'm tied in a tighter knot. So Lord, what do I do? I'm having constant provocation. People come against me. Should I speak or should I remain silent? Would it be in order to speak here? Would I lose ground if I would respond in a fashion? Or should I remain silent here? Would silence condemn me further? Should I go or should I stay? There's an open door, so and should I walk into it? Did you open the door, or is there a trap door on the other side? I need to make a move, Lord, and I'm anxious, and I'm zealous, and I need to do something here, and I'm ready to go. Should I go or should I stay? Well, you remember the apostles had that dilemma, because when they went to preach, and all these people here, and they said, wait a minute, I'm going to preach here. You would think because they're preaching, we're preaching anywhere where there are people. No, that's not the case. And they went the next day. We set up our tent here and have a great revival, and perhaps we get a multitude of reaping here. No, Holy Ghost forbade them. He said, don't do it. What's this all about? You called me to preach, and here the people are, so what's going on? You know the rest of the story. There was a man over in Macedonia. An individual says, come over and help us. He could, in his zeal, he could have just jumped out there and thought he was going to, a great revivalist, and the real mission would have been lost. What do we do, Lord? What do we do? I'm going to tell you something, children. You better learn how to seek God for yourself. We're going through some situation, dear one, that if the individuals involved had not known how to seek God for themselves, oh, where would they be today? See, now you can lean on your spiritual saints and your spiritual advisors and those who helped you last time. That's wonderful. But I'm going to head back and say, the more I think about it and ponder the situation, and the more counsel I get, the more confused I become. So I'm going to get up my towel. And I'm going to tear down the steps so nobody can come up and messing with me. And I thought we have no advisors here that are going to confuse me further. And let me tell you something, children. Don't try to be everybody's champion. They come to you and you're going to try to advise them. Something you better keep your mouth closed. You better leave them alone. You're going to mess them up in yourself too. I'm going to be a champion. I got the answer. But you might need an answer for yourself. So this situation, I have gone through some things here that those who I've always sought counsel for, in their sympathy, they gave me something, but that wasn't the answer. That didn't satisfy me. And I had to get before God for myself, and really get before God. Well, sometimes I may just jump out there for relief, but you don't know where you're going to land. Young man was going through some deep waters a few months ago, real deep waters. And they were coming to him, telling him what the probable consequences would be. It never just makes something drop in your stomach because it could have been probable or even likely. He said, wait a minute, I'm praying. So do what you want to do. I'm praying, so just leave me alone. And come what may, I'm praying. That's it. I'm in my tower. So I don't need no further advice. I don't need no further counsel, legal counsel, no other kind of counsel. I don't need no medical counsel. I'm sorry. That condition will deteriorate. Well, I'm praying. Come on. You behind bars forever? I'm praying. I'm not going to tell you. You better get that personal contact with God. Your counselor might get confused. as astute as he might have been in time past. I tell them all, I don't care about my relationship and how sympathetic one might be toward me or toward whomever. You better get up in your tower. Because, as I said before, some decisions are irreversible. You make them and they're made. They're etched in stone. That's it. That's it. See, sometimes you might do something and recover and restore all, recover all, but then sometimes you make a decision and you've decided. And then your counselors will have to bear the brunt of the consequences. Why? Because they counseled you to do it, and now, since it didn't come out good, you're going to turn on your counselor. You better wake up, children. All these, your advisors, and go advise people this, that, and the other, and many times when they get clear and you get them in a hole, they're going to charge you. I wouldn't have been here if you hadn't told me that. You should have told me differently. Now look at me. But I was just trying to help you. Well, you should have known your limitations. Even as a pastor, there comes time that, wait a minute. You better pray this one through. Because this situation, that's because the consequences of such here that you're going to have to be satisfied with the outcome of it. And you'll never be satisfied until you get hold of God for yourself. I don't care what I say, what nobody says. This one you'll have to pray through. See, when people get too emotional, if what you tell them don't work, then you're going to be the culprit. So I'm going to climb on my tower. Oh, Lord. You go to this individual. You go to this preacher. You go to that preacher. And once they do this, once they don't do it. Use your five senses. And once they listen to the Spirit. And we're reasonable individuals. We're logical individuals. So if somebody says something that's logical and reasonable, we consider it. And whoever philosophy sounds best to us, we'll strike out behind it. Because most times it favors the flesh, and that's what you'll do. You better get up at your table. All these meaningful situations you're in, you're back against the wall, and things are going contrary, and your whole life is going to be affected by your decision. You better pray. You better pray hard. Come on. Honey, I'd walk up on that woman, I'd leave that man. I don't have no baby by that man. We're talking about a husband. We're not talking about the other fellow who shouldn't have had one by. We're in a situation as children. There never has been times of such gross confusion as we're now facing. Never has been. There had not been an era. People just going to and fro in there, just seeking. Trying to seek a solution. A livable solution. And they're still living behind the 8 ball many times. Hey, back, I'm going to get up my tower. I appreciate your counsel. I appreciate your sympathy. I appreciate you favoring me, whether I deserve it or not. But I'm going to get up my tower here, because after it's over, I got to live with my decision. In one place, you have to live by about 9,000 decisions a day. You make them inadvertently. You don't realize you're doing it, but you decide. Constantly. It's just a way of life, so you don't pay any particular attention to it. You're deciding. My sister was going through something so excruciating. And she has so much confidence in me as her brother, and I have so much sympathy toward her. We're very close together. She said, June, what should I do? I said, well, honey, you'll have to decide when you're going far enough here. I'm sorry. I can't help you. I'm sympathetic towards you. I'm praying for you, but you'll have to decide this. You got to decide this one for yourself. See? So it don't matter, you're going to stand or fall here. I tell you, children, what you're going to do when you don't know what to do. And you see, now let me show you. Let me say this to you, children. Oh, we're led by the Spirit. Well, that's true. But don't you know there comes a time when the Spirit would not suggest what to do. Well, I'll prove it to you. Turn to, what do I want? Over in Kings. Give me 2 Chronicles. Give me that one. 32:30. Read. 2 Chronicles 32:30. Read.
This same Hezekiah also stopped the upper watercourse
This same Hezekiah also stopped the upper watercourse
of Gihon
of Gihon. Go on.
and brought it straight down to the west side of the city of
Brought
David.
it straight down to the west side of the city
Of David.
of David.
And Hezekiah prospered
He prospered
in all his work.
in all of his work,
Howbeit in the business of the ambassadors of the prince of
in the
Babylon,
business of the ambassadors of the prince of Babylon.
who sent unto him to inquire
Go on.
of the wonder that was done in the land,
Go on.
God left him.
God did, wait, hold it. God did what?
God left him.
No, just a moment. Don't mean God forsook him, that God abandoned him, but God had a purpose here. When he does, God's going to leave you. Now, I don't mean just going to leave you out there by yourself. That's not the issue. But he has to do this. He has a purpose in mind. He has an objective in mind. God did what?
Left him
God left him.
to try him.
Why would God leave him? To try him. To see what he was all about. See what you do when red lights are not flashing in your face. When somebody not cramming this do's and don'ts down your throat. When somebody not saying you got to do it. I'm gonna see what's in you. When I'm not sticking my head through the clouds saying you better not do it. I'm gonna see what you're gonna do under those circumstances. How did it read, son?
God left him to try him.
God left him. So I'm going to leave you by yourself. Don't mean that God had abandoned him. That's not the idea. Get the intent of the scriptures here. God left him to try him.
That he might
When all around my soul give way. He then is all my soul. See, that time everything around you will give way. That time you just left out there. God is with you in a measure, but he leaves that persuasion, that coercion. You understand? That red and amber lights are not flashing. The green lights are going out. I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what's in your heart. I'm going to see what you're going to do when you don't know what to do. Oh, anybody do it this. Hey, you keep my commandment. You don't do that. I'll kill you. I'll send you to hell. No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm going to see what you do when you don't know what to do. When I'm not crying saying you'll go to hell if you do it. We don't know what you're all about. Just like a child. When he's home, we have strict regulations. And we have curfews. And there's a lot of do's and don'ts. But many times, as soon as they get on their own, you see what they're all about. They weren't that sweet little child that you thought they were. That little obedient, soft-spoken, and sober individual. When they got out there with the crowd and the influences, Wait a minute. Isn't that the songs the daughter with them pants on? And pierced ears? And spiked shoes? And exposed cleavages? But she was always a mother girl. She just sat and held her hands. And sang on the first word in the choir. And sometimes sobbed uncontrollably with emotions of a sort. And you mean to say that's her? With blonde hair and she's black? That's a quirk of nature. That is scientifically absurd. Read, son.
God left him
God left him.
to try him,
To try him.
that he might know all that was in his heart.
I want to know what's in your heart when you're not persuaded. When you're not somebody crying over your shoulder saying, don't do it, you cannot, you better not do it. I'm going to see what you're all about. Some people you don't know until they come to circumstances like this. You don't know. You think you know them. Or they doing this strictly here, and they don't do this, and they don't do the other. But let them get in the situation. Let them get in the situation. They seem to be so reserved and non-retaliatory, don't back them in the corner. They'll come out. Oh, they're so sweet, but have an occasion to rebuke them. You understand? Oh, certainly they're sweet when everything's going that way, and you're always in total agreement with what they're doing. Then you become a villain when you have a chance. You're wrong. You need to repent. Before you get in the gall of bitterness. You changed. Well, you made me change. You know what? Let me tell you something, children. Let me tell you something. Before you choose a mate, you better check them out in some situations. See what they do when they don't know what to do, because they're going to make a decision for your family. When the economy is low and the ad sheet has no openings, see what they're going to do. See what they're going to do under those circumstances. Well, I just can't find nothing to do, son. I guess we have to try to see if they got anything left for the welfare, salvation of anybody now. See, you don't know what you don't really know what they're all about under favorable circumstances. That's what the Bible says can be proved. A minister, a deacon, or whatever, they're going to be proved. Let's see what they do under circumstances. He might be able to deliver a good sermon, amen, sing a good solo, or whatever the case might be, but let me see what they're going to do under unfavorable circumstances. When their back's really against the wall, when everything they have is at stake. So let them be proved first. You know what you're doing. You know what you're dealing with. Right, preach a good sermon, you jump up. Oh, this chief missionary, he's the bishop. Make him the bishop. I'm going to prove him. How are you going to prove him? I'm going to leave him. I'm going to put him out there on an island by himself for an indefinite period. And I'm going to check his response. When I was in the military, I didn't save a long time. And so I was advocating strong holiness. And so I said, you can live free from sin. And those fellows, many of them were religious, they sought to make me sin before I left there somehow. And so they would notice what affects me. I was very neat. I like to keep my bed. You have a blanket and a sheet and hospital fold. And I like to make mine so tight maybe a quarter could bounce up on it. And then many times they were sloppy, and so they decided he's carried away with this neatness of his bed. I still make up my bed. And so one day I was coming to lunch. I came in and they had all the locker box and all this stuff stacked up on my bed. And they were back in the corner. I walked in the door. They were seeing if my countenance had fallen, or my voice was trembling, or my eyes were flashing. So after about a couple of years, I was leaving before my discharge. I said, well, you fellas railed on me and you said you couldn't. I said, now, can you point a finger at me? They still didn't give up. So you probably did something, we just didn't see you. They're going to give up. They won't give me no credit. To see what's in their heart. Let me tell you something. Actually and truly, before God uses you, I'm talking about the Lord, that we can appoint what we want to appoint. He's going to know what you're all about. Again, to the military, they would just do all kinds of things, just work us to death and dog you out like you're animals. And some of those boys just couldn't take it emotionally, and they would just fall in their bayonets and stick it through them and drink boar cleaner poison and die, which is too much. And now they asked the drill instructors, wait a minute, what's all this about? Is all this necessary? He said, we're doing this to see what they're all about. We don't want them to get on the battlefield and get everybody killed. Panic. If they're going to do it, let them do it now. God, if you're going to break, let's break now. Don't let me get out there and get somebody responsible until you break. God left him to try him and to know actually what was in his heart. And he stood back. Well, he did see, if you read the preceding verses, he was proud when the people from Babylon came down, he was showing off all his wealth and all this kind of stuff. And God showed him, and then he had to humble himself because for his pride, it was there. Well, I guess he wouldn't have known it if God had not allowed some certain thing to come his way. But let me tell you this. When God tries you, and when it comes to focus, or when it surfaces, acknowledge it.
Amen.
Don't explain it away. Don't call it by another name. Acknowledge it. Well, Lord, you know what? I didn't know. I didn't think I was lustful. I called those emotions, that's a natural emotion. And that was a natural attraction. And you might look the second and third time just to make sure you saw what you saw the first time. So explain away, you know. Everybody has a virtuous name for their characteristic vice. Are you pray with me for a while here? God help us. You don't know many people well you think you do. One brother said, you're going to marry somebody, go to their house unannounced. And, check her out. And this little beautiful, dolled up lady that you see at the church, you come to the door, yikes! Wait a minute. Hair all over her head and whatnot, and stained house robe, and a room that's almost impassable, and horrendous, and almost, and in fact, calamitous. That the neat little girl you're sitting up there in a corner, sitting, with a little, colored dress on, and this, well arranged hair, and not too much. That was a dilemma. Come on. That's right. Unannounced. Talk to your mother. And the mother, if she's a good mother, she said, honey, I'm going to tell you about Matilda. She said, listen, said, she's nice, and, she has not run the street. But she'll go off on mama and anybody else. And you will not be the exception. Fare thee well. See, listen. See, you've not seen the flip side. See, there's another side to most people. You understand? See, and usually you only see the better side. You've not seen the other side. And you're so eager, you don't want to see the other side, but you will. Or you're going to, in fact, that's all you'll see, probably. Now you're going to do something. Turn to 2 Kings 7:3. 2 Kings 7:3. Quickly, we're going to move on. All right, how does it read?
7:3. And there were 4 leprous men
at the
entering in of the gate.
At the entering in of the gate.
And they said one to another. Why sit we here until we die?
Why sit here and just perish and rot right here? Let's do some, wait a minute. We're deteriorating. Time is against us here. Our situation is worsening. Read.
If we say,
we
will enter into the city.
Go on.
Then the famine is in the city.
If we go to the city, there's a famine in the city. Go on.
And we shall die there.
And we shall die there.
And if we sit still here,
we
die also.
Come on.
Now therefore come.
All right.
And let us fall into the host of the Syrians.
We got some critical options here. We have some very critical options. Yeah. If we go here, we're going to die. But we got to do something. We can't just sit here. We understand that. But now, what you do? We don't know what to do. If we go in here, we're going to die. We sit here, we're going to starve. We're going to famish. And go here, we're going to get killed. So what do we do? What do I do? Now we'll see. Now we'll see what you're all about. when all of your options are critical. If I do this, the authority going to get me, and if I do this, the church going to look down upon me, and if I do this, and I lose my job, and if I do this, it's going to be a reproach. What do I do? You run out of options. But now the issue is, what do you do? What have you done when you came to those kind of situations? What did you do? Let me tell you something, children. We are victims of apostates of the past. Why? Because they came to a place where they didn't know what to do, and they almost invariably did the wrong thing. Well, they had ministers meeting when they had hundreds of ministers, maybe even thousands, and they had a controversial issue, and they were discussing them, and one said one thing, one said another, and the young ministers said, what do we do? We got 200 says don't do it, and we got 250 says it's all right, so what do we do? Well, of course, you see the results of it, so you know what they almost always, when there's a controversial situation, more people going to end up on the negative side. Oh, yes. Well, how do you think we got as we are? We're the victims of those kind of decisions. We've been in ministers' meeting, all those kinds. Some of you all a little younger with those ministers, and we had issues, and almost always the negative side prevailed. And those who were standing were squashed in a corner. They got there, and some of those who were supposed to be standing, when those ruthless ministers got up and says, we won't fellowship you. We'll brand you as heretics. And then they begin to melt. And then they got, well, I don't know what to do. I'm open. Well, you can't be open for anything. Something you got to lock up. I don't open nothing. There's nothing humble about that. So what happened? That's why we are in the situation today we are in. If you go to that place today, I've been there several times in bygone days, you see nothing akin to the Church of God. And those young ministers don't even know what it's all about unless they read some history. That's tough. Why? Because they came to a place they didn't know what to do. Because ministers are confused, and one little group saying this, one little group saying that, and one group is justifying, one group condemning it, and so I don't know what to do. What did you do? You took the lesser side. You took the side that would spare your flesh. You took the side that would be less involvement in this opposition. That's what you did. Would not cramp your lifestyle. That you can live luxurious. It would not affect you. What do you do when you don't know what to do? Oh, we're going to have those times. God's going to allow it to be. He's going to let you get in a situation like that so you really don't know what to do. And I'm going to see what they're going to do. When I'm not pushing them in one direction. When I'm not yelling in their ears. Don't do that. You remember Balaam? We won't make all those references. We just read them. We just make some references. Remember Balaam? God had given them clear, distinct instructions what to do. He said, those people that come here and they want me to, to curse these people here. God, don't you go with them. You better pray. You better watch this renegotiating, amen, the thing that God persuaded you of. I don't care what the people say. See, listen, let me tell you this. I don't care how much confidence you have in an individual. If you get off, you're not satisfied. If they suggest something that's a little devious, you're not satisfied with it. You might go along with it. Eventually, they might cow you down, and you finally say, well, I sit back in the corner, but you can't do that. You can't do that. So you got to stand for something, or you fall for anything. I don't care who promotes it. That's why we're in such a mess now. Over half the men with one cleansing was because a persuasive man said it, and he was astute, and he knew how to bring it out. He could teach one cleansing, two cleansing equally as astute. And they said, well, I don't know what to do. Well, I don't know. And one brother made a song. I don't know whether it's two cleansing or three or whatever. I don't know. Made a song. Got confused, totally confused. After having preached it and advocated it so strongly, now I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to have one husband or three. Well, you preached it, you taught it, and you fought against it, and almost split the congregation because somebody else did it. And now you don't know what to do. Are you with me? Listen, let me tell you something. In most instances, when people become confused, at one time they was clear. They became confused. They were not natively, originally confused. They became, I'm confused. Oh, really and truly. When did you become confused? Well, you've not been thinking. Yes, that's right. You've been thinking. And you had wrong thoughts. See, the one confusion is usually the result of a renegotiation. Oh, yes, it is too. See, listen, Adam was clear. Come on, and Eve knew because she said it, but she became confused when she received some wrong counsel. Better be careful. Better watch yourself. You'll mess up the whole world. God said you don't eat that fruit. And she was clear. And old devil said, have God said? Have your pastor said? He's off. Come on. Well, and then she began to ponder and to dissect what God has said. What God has said is God. And there was another persuasive voice. And she gave credence to it. And you know the rest of the story. God usually speaks first. You might not be perceptive enough to recognize what he's saying because you're so involved otherwise. Confusion becomes with that second voice. See, you didn't hear the first one, but the devil going to shout. He's going to make you hear his. God might speak in a still small voice. Son, that's forbidden. There's no God in that. Don't involve yourself in that. Leave that alone. Well, he said it so gently, and it was not so abrupt and vocal and vociferous, and so you ignored it. And then the devil says, God just knew that when you do it, you'll be wise as he is. Eat it. I said, eat it. Eat it. No, God said, eat it. Wait a minute, God said, you remember? Marry him. No, God said, no, I can't do that because he got another one down in somewhere in Mississippi. Marry him. She might be dead. But where the death certificate? What are you reading, son? What the leopard men say? Listen, say we stay here, we're going to die. Say listen, we got to do something. I'm aware you in situation. Well, brother, what am I going to do? I've got to do something. That's correct. I take cognizance of that. You've got to do something. You can't just sit there because you're rot. And you're already famishing. So I got to do something. That's right. What you going to do? We understand that we give credence to the fact that you've got to do something, but what are you going to do? We understand there's a need, but what are you going to do? When you have a personal problem, but what are you going to do? There's nobody available here that's eligible. What are you going to do? Well, I saw one. He's a Mormon, but he seemed to be nice. But he not only believes in second marriage, but he believes in plurality. He has 3 at a time. What are you going to do? You want to be one of the 3? What are you going to do? Yes, you know you're lonesome, and you're tired of hugging your pillow. I understand that. You tired of taking cold showers in the middle of the night. I understand that, but what you do? All right. Let me tell you something, children. Let me tell you something. We're going to reserve this. Give me Psalm chapter 16, verse number 7. Pray with me for just for a short period, please. Just for a short while. Come on with it. Oh, Lord. Help us. Are you going to do something? Amen. You're not just going to sit there. You're going to do something. And what you do is going to be significant. And consequential, if you will. Come on with it.
I will bless the Lord.
You'll do what?
I will bless the Lord.
I'll bless the Lord.
Who hath given me counsel.
Given me counsel.
My reins also instruct me in the night seasons.
What? Read that again.
I will bless the Lord.
Go on.
Who hath given me counsel.
Given me counsel.
My reins also instruct me in the night seasons.
Wait a minute. Now, God has given me counsel. But you better pray, and you better pray hard. My reins. Let me give you the definition for that word, please. Reins are the controlling or guiding power. That inward guiding power that God gave me will instruct me in the night when things are dark, when things are obscure, when my vision is not clear, when it's murky and when it's unclear, my rein going to instruct me in the night season. When I come to a situation like that, my rein going to say, no, don't do that. So no, you get in trouble with God. You'll never be happy again if you'll never live it down. Don't do that. You'll turn your life in reverse. Don't do that. My rein shall instruct me. My intuition. Wait a minute. We're living in a time now where you're going to need some instruction beyond what you get many times. There's a tough situation here. My rein shall instruct me when I don't know what to do. And when it's dark and when things are obscure and I can't see clearly. When I go through those tunnels and I don't see any light at the end of it, my reins shall instruct me. What I got inside will instruct me, and I come out on the bright side of it. What I have already, what I have inside me. Now listen to what he said now. He said, now, what? My God, read that again, please.
I will bless the Lord.
I will bless the Lord.
Who hath given me counsel.
God has given him counsel. Come on.
My reins also instruct me in the night.
But there are going to be some dark times when I might not be able to perceive that counsel. Then my reins, what I got down in my soul. Amen. That righteous judgment in my soul. My personal integrity.
Praise God. Praise God.
Should going to instruct me. When I'm going through the dark valley, shadows, amen, of confusion, of faces. One person saying one thing, one person saying another. And they both are equally persuasive. My reins, what I got in my soul, that integrity that I have down in my soul going to instruct me. Come on, going to go keep me upright in the night season. You're going to go through some dark places. You're going to go through some dark places. But if you don't have no personal integrity, you're going to yield to the lesser in the night season. Come on.
I will bless the Lord.
There we go. There again. God said, okay then. I'm going to let you be in the darkness for a while. Sometimes your vision might not be as clear as it always was. Sometimes you cannot put a ditto behind the say whether yes or no, or it's not black or white, but seemingly a dirty gray. Now I'm going to see what you're going to do. Lord, you gave me instructions, but I'm not altogether clear what I should do here. And it is an all-important situation. I could do it without getting the ire of from the saint. The saint wouldn't bless me if I did it. And I would probably be generally accepted. But that's not what I want. I could go to get a multitude of counselors and they all probably would agree with me. And I don't have the answer that I'm really looking for, because there's something in me that is not satisfied with those answers. Well, what are you going to do? My rein shall instruct me.
Praise God.
That guiding power down in my soul, that righteous judgment that God gave me shall instruct me in the night season. I have an instructor that exceeds all other people, other groups and other councils and every other body. My range will instruct me. I'm gonna come out winning at the finishing line because my reign gonna check my righteous judgment. No, I can't do that. That seems to be a little shady. That's being a little too far. We can hold hands and whatnot. That's just a kind of jovial act. No, my reign says no, don't do that because you might keep on going to my arms and then my back go down. So my reign said, no, just keep your hands off. Do like the Bible said, keep your hand off. This don't be, this touching. There's something sensational. There's something that's electric about this penetrating. So my reign said, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. See, don't do that. Don't do that. Because you remember that touch all night long and relive it. And add to it. My reign shall instruct me. Praise our God. All this confusion is not necessary. What happened to your reigns? What happened to your reigns? I didn't know what to do. What happened to your reigns? Remember, it was a dark situation. What happened to your reigns? When I went to all the little ministers up there in that place, and they all said this, what happened to your reigns? And I just went on and did it. Brother preached a message at one of the campgrounds, and one of the fellows who was involved came and says, you know what? Says, I've been wondering about that. I never felt clear about my involvement. But those brethren, they just lifted me up and said it was justifiable and it was all right to do it. And well, what happened to his reigns? Yes, the brethren that he maybe respected, but what happened to his reigns? I'm going to do what's right. I mean, I should have a righteous principle down in me that I won't violate. Despite what people say, despite instruction, there should be a principle in me. In fact, when I was away in service, a lot of young boys were saved, and they had never been from around their parents and around the church, and and whatnot, and they'd been sort of cuddled, and they got out there and let their hair down. I said, if you ask me the period of my life that I lived closest was when I was away from the saints. Because if I was there, they might correct me. But I said, when I'm out here now, I get off. And now my reign got to instruct me. I said, my personal integrity got to hold me up here.
Amen.
And he did it too. He did it too. And let me tell you something. If you really have genuine personal integrity, God, you remember Abimelech and Abraham's wife? And he had taken her, and God said, don't you touch her.
Did, man.
And that little girl, oh, my sweet weekend, I want to make an announcement. God said, don't you touch her. We always get, what about June? What about the June, the wedding month? Don't you touch her. Well, she's sweet. She's never been married before. I don't care. Don't you touch her. And when you get her, you won't have no marriage, so don't you touch her. Or him, however the case might be. You understand? Brother Chris. Many people listen to the voice of the last speaker. They're misdirected. They don't know which way to go. And that's tough. Whoever comes to them last, or whoever most persuasive, that's what they listen to. And jump on that bandwagon. That's too bad. That's sad. That's sad. Which we don't know what to do. Even in this city, there was a minister here standing one time, and this doctrine arose. And so he could not altogether abandon the truth that he knew about. But what he heard at the meeting was so persuasive, they say he would preach 2 cleansing in the morning and 1 cleansing at night. What do I do? Lord, what do I do? But not only that, what do the people do? Not only what will he do, but what will the people do? One said, no, you can't do that. If you do that, this will be the case. And if you do that, that'll be the case. And one said, do it. One said, don't do it. One said you do it, and then you don't. One said you will, and then you won't. You're undecided now. And what are you going to do? Now, I'm on the fence now. But be careful. The fence belongs to the devil. The love of God. We're in that era now. What Peter said: save yourself save yourselves.
Untoward generation.
Amen. You might be the lone escapee. Save yourself from this untoward generation. I keep telling you. See, we're in an unprecedented situation here now. We've never been like this before. It hasn't been like this before. The Bible said it. The deception will be so great that it was to deceive the very elect, if it were possible.
That's right.
You see, we've never been there before. The deception had been rife. These are the very elects. That's how strong the deception is. May God help us.
Oh, God.
You got them whispering from everywhere. All right, we're going to try to bring this to a conclusion. Give me Acts chapter 27. All right, what do we do? Now we're going to give you the answer. We've given it to you in a measure all along, but let us sort of conclude it and nail it down here. All right, this is the situation, and may God help us. Brother Dale said he wants to receive everything that God gives him, so I trust that you will. Give me Acts 27:14.
But not long after there arose against it a tempest wind called Euroclydon.
There arose a tempest wind called Euroclydon.
And when the ship was caught,
and
could not bear up into the wind,
go on.
We let her drive.
And
running under a certain island,
which
is called Claudia,
go on.
We had much work to come by the boat.
All right.
Which when they had taken up,
they
used helps.
Go on.
Undergirding the ship.
Go on.
And fearing lest they should fall into the quicksands.
Go on.
Straight sail. And so we're driven.
Go on.
And we being exceedingly tossed with
the tempest.
The next day,
they lightened the ship.
And the third day, we cast out with our own hands
the tackling of the ship.
And when neither the sun nor stars in many days appeared, and no small tempest lay on us, all hope that we should be saved was then taken away. But after long abstinence, Paul stood forth in the midst of them, and said, Sirs, you should have hearkened unto me, and not have loosed from Crete.
I'd already instructed you. I'd already told you what to do. But that didn't seem to affect you to the extent that it should have. I'd already told you what to do. See, God always sends you some instruction before the calamity. So I'd already told you. But you were so involved and so emotional trying to correct things and do things your way that you just went on and did it anyway. They threw the tackling out. We done everything we know. We threw out the tackling. We did this, we did that, and the other, even threw our food away. But now what do we do? What did Paul do? Paul said, wait just a moment. So you've done all that. And so if I gave you instruction, but I'm still not quite satisfied. So I'm going to go on an indefinite fast here. Because we're in a critical situation here, and they're going one way or the other. Now, if we are to have any survivals, we've got to have some definite, distinct operations here and instructions from God. So he went before God. Secluded and said, wait a minute, I got to come up with the right answer. I can't be wrong here. You can't be wrong in some situations. That's true. Because there'll be no correcting. There'll be no second shot at it. So I can't be wrong. I can't be wrong about this. Because otherwise, we're almost gone already. We've been down 2 times already, and we're on our way down the 3rd time, so I can't be wrong. So now I've given you instruction, and you should have hearkened. But now, let me see what we can come up with here. But Paul, we don't know what to do. I understand that. That's evident. That's clearly manifest. You don't know what to do. Well, what do we do? What did he say?
But after long abstinence,
Paul
stood forth in the midst of them.
They don't do that too much anymore. After long abstinence,
Paul stood forth in the midst of them.
Paul, we don't know what to do. After long abstinence, what did he do?
Stood in the midst of them.
Oh, yeah, people get answers, but they're not willing to go far enough to get the answer. Oh no, you want to get some little side counsel which might not be right. And you need to send them back to the counseling. Why don't you fast and pray about it? Go to the champion and give everybody an answer here, but you can make yourself a champion. Instruct them, fast and pray about it. Get before God. Abstain for a while. So you can't just do anything and come out on the good side of it. You've got to come out on the right side after a long abstinence. After a long abstinence. What happened?
Paul stood forth in the midst of them.
What?
Paul stood forth in the midst of them.
Paul stood forth in the midst of them.
And said, Sirs,
you
should have hearkened unto me.
Wait a minute. Now, you should have listened.